how a student is healing through art, and who CSU football is replacing as their new offensive coordinator.
Then, we're going to dive right into how the Rec Center's new policy will affect students, as well as a possibly haunted ice cream shop here in Fort Collins.
All of that and more on CTV starting now.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Sophia Ridley.
And I'm Robbie Patla. We're so glad you could join us tonight for our first news show of the 2021 spring semester. This week saw 12 new COVID-19 outbreaks in Larimer County, adding to a total of 69. While this does not match the amount recorded by the county and state health department in December, the amount of cases are still on the rise. Around 1,500 were reported in these new outbreaks, which don't include Colorado State University's numbers that were noted to have been just over 1,700 last week. This may raise questions as spring semester progresses. As of right now, CSU will return to remote learning following spring break, now taking place from April 12th through the 16th.
With new developments and the slowing of the spread of COVID-19, Governor Jared Polis recently announced that Colorado is moving to Phase 1B.2, which focuses on vaccinating educators from pre-K through high school, people within the age range of 65 to 69, and essential government workers. Vaccinations will begin next Monday on the 8th. Colorado will end up using half of the vaccinations on educators, and Polis hopes that all school instructors will be vaccinated by the end of the month. Polis did not say when university, community, or community college professors will be eligible for the vaccine. Now we're going to head over with Ren Wadsworth live in the studio to tell you all you need to know about CSU COVID guidelines for the spring semester.
It's a new semester here at Colorado State University, which means new guidelines and protocols for COVID-19. Or does it? Let's take a look at how the pandemic preparedness team is keeping Rams safe this spring.
As students funnel back onto Colorado State University's campus for the new semester, and with vaccines on the horizon, members from the pandemic preparedness team explain how Rams can stay safe for the spring.
Most of what the current guidelines include are the same as what was in place during the fall. So we want people wearing a face covering, maintaining that physical or social distancing, and then ensuring they're following the protocols around good hand washing.
Guidelines such as masks, social distancing, and disinfecting surfaces are all still in place from the fall, but new precautions are in place this semester, like the weekly testing for all staff and students at Colorado State.
We've had a little bit more time to really ramp up the ability of the university to test large numbers of people. So for that reason, the university can now ask more people to get tested on a weekly basis.
As the semester moves into its third week, the pandemic preparedness team is doing their best to keep Rams healthy and safe so they can keep learning at CSU for the spring.
Now that we've started a new semester, many students on campus are craving routine, myself included. Maybe spitting into a tube every week was just the kind of routine I needed. What are your thoughts on the new weekly testing, Robbie?
Well, I guess it could be better than not being able to see after sticking a nasal swab up your nose. What do you think, Sophia?
I think my only suggestion is not to eat before you do it. It's a little gross,
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. New semester means new regulations, especially when it comes to the Student Recreation Center. Due to Larimer County's level orange state, the Campus Rec Center have put in place new guidelines, including a reservation and no-show policy. Effective February 6th, this will apply to all rec center facilities, such as the weight rooms, climbing wall, and swimming pool. According to the establishment, if a member does not check in within the first 20 minutes of their reservation, it will be canceled and available for other Rams to book. If students wish to make a reservation or change it in any way, they can log on to this rec center's web portal.
Early Saturday morning, a man was arrested and booked with charges of attempted first-degree murder, first-degree assault, and criminal contempt. 911 received a call shortly after midnight about a shooting in northwestern Fort Collins. A female victim and a witness fled the residence to a nearby grocery store. The victim was taken to a local hospital for an emergency surgery. Larimer County Sheriff's deputies, Fort Collins Police, and Larimer County Regional SWAT surrounded the location of the shooting around 5 in the morning and arrested Jeffrey James Lewick. Anyone with any information about this incident is asked to contact investigator Justin Atwood at 970-498-5143. Don't go anywhere, Rams.
Because after the break, Zaya Hiley will be giving you your weather update, so stick around.
So there you are. Shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But, here's the thing. Can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Can one piece of paper really tell you my whole story? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or how anytime there was an opportunity, I was the first one to step up. Because I wasn't gonna let my life, my circumstances dictate who I was gonna become. And all of that determination, the commitment, the drive, that's me. And that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume, discover new ways to develop great talent, like me.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. I'm Zaya Hiley, and I will be your weather anchor for the semester. So let's get started and take a look at our current conditions today. So if you took a look outside, you would see that it is a partly cloudy night with temperatures just above freezing at 33 degrees. And if you will be up late studying tonight, like I probably will be, our moonrise is at 11:06, so you can take a look at that. And if you were on campus today, it was a very nice day outside. I was very excited to check out what we had. And I'll tell you about it. It was pretty warm, and we had a nice breeze going through. And there was also lots of wildlife outside. So we got the geese going around campus, and also, of course, the people on campus too, just relaxing, taking a seat in the grass. Even some people were out studying on the oval. But there is still some frozen ice and snow left over, and it still somehow survived, even though we got up into the 60s today. And after that, we can take a look at our overnight lows for tonight. On the eastern side, we have 20s and 30s. We've got Burlington at 34, Lyman and Lamar both at 28. And then along the I-25 corridor, we have high 30s, Denver's at 39, Colorado Springs at 37, Pueblo at 35. And then on the western side, it gets even colder as you go up into the mountains. So we have Craig at 27, Gunnison at 21, and we even dip down into the teens in Alamosa at 17 degrees. And then after that, we can take a look at our highs for tomorrow. And it's very interesting because it's actually split across the state. So on this side, we have some pretty nice temperatures. We've got 68 in Burlington, 69 in Lamar, almost 70 degrees. You could have like a nice picnic out there. And then along the I-25 corridor, we have 50s and 60s, kind of mixed. We've got Colorado Springs at 59, Pueblo at 67. But where it changes is on the western side, it actually gets a lot colder. We've got 41 in Craig, Vail's at 40, Gunnison's at 40, Telluride's at 38 degrees. And it's funny because we actually have a 80% chance of snow tomorrow in Telluride. So depending on where you are in the state, very different experiences. So know where you want to be at that time. And then we can take a look at what it's like in Fort Collins tomorrow. So that's where I am. This is what I can expect. We'll have a high of 58 and a low of 27. So pretty similar to today. A little bit cloudier, some cloud cover. And there is actually a chance tomorrow that we could have some overnight rain. So look out for a 50% chance of precipitation. And then finally, let's take a look at the rest of the week. So we have today our high was 61 on Tuesday. And then as you can see, it basically goes downhill from there. So on Thursday and Friday, we have highs in the 40s, lows in the 20s. And then in typical Colorado fashion, on Saturday, it just drops down to 26 with the low of 7. And there is a chance of snow on Saturday. And that is actually all I have for you tonight. But please stick around because after the break, we have more.
Awkward. Do I look familiar? I should. You might remember me from here. Here. Or maybe even here. But an awkward silence can be a great thing. It can actually be a perfect moment to reach out to a friend and ask if they're okay if they seem down. It doesn't matter how you say it.
You all right?
Everything's okay?
All G?
You all right, girl?
Oh,
You cool?
you bugging dog.
Just show you're there for them. Go on, Kelly. Susie Awkward.
Hey, you haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. We have even more news for you, so let's jump right into it. Week 3 of the semester has already arrived. While many students adapt to their new class schedule, one question may arise. What opportunities are there for work? As spring semester succeeds to fill most students' daily schedules, finding time to work may be an issue for some. Fortunately, the summer provides many opportunities for college students. One of the most notable is Southwestern Advantage.
Southwestern Advantage helps college students all around the nation and world develop different skills and character traits through our summer program, working with families and helping with their kids' education.
Through their direct sales and leadership program, Southwestern Advantage aims to impact students through work, teach essential life skills, promote personal growth through travel, and build community and culture, all while earning money. Employee Alex Haar said this program also focuses on creating long-lasting relationships.
We tend to attract go-getters. So naturally, we have an incredible community, like not only people you can go and hang out with on the weekends, but also people that will like push you to hit your goals and have big goals in life as well.
Since fall semester 2020, Southwestern has been recruiting students right off the CSU campus. As the semester progresses, Southwestern employees will work to build a strong summer team and ensure a comfortable, hard-working environment for any students to participate in. Southwestern Advantage works with over 1,600 students across 200-plus campuses across 20-plus countries and hopes to be the world's largest independent company by 2048. If students are interested in this summer opportunity, they can learn more or apply for an interview at southwesternadvantage.com.
During this pandemic, the stress of paying for rent and fear of being evicted has been on many people's minds. Colorado's rental assistance programs will be receiving almost $250 million in federal aid this week to help tenants apply for 3 months of future rent. Luckily, the national eviction ban will protect Colorado renters until March 31st. This order has been in effect since September of 2020, but was extended last week by President Joe Biden. Tenant rights activists say this still isn't enough. This is because landlords can still evict residents under the national eviction moratorium once the lease expires and the landlord doesn't wish to renew it. Now, let's head over to Sarah Fowler, live in the studio, to tell us all you need to know about the upcoming ASCSU election.
Although it might seem like the Associated Students of Colorado University and the election just yesterday, the next one is right around the corner.
The Associated Students of Colorado State University have an upcoming election this spring, and it is time to start thinking about how it will impact students. ASCSU works hard every year to make sure that the students are seeing where their tuition is going. President Hannah Taylor tells us why it is important for students to be keeping up with the election.
So ASCSU is actually a student fee funded area, and so we get a budget of $1.6 million to spend of student fees. And so what we do is try to give it back to the student body.
ASCSU manages and controls where part of the students' money go towards. Upcoming candidates will campaign for what their future plans are.
In charge of spending your own student fees, and so I think that that's definitely a good reason to care. This election is going to get a new president, a VP, and a Speaker of the Senate, and so it's really important to be aware of what their platforms are and what you want to see changed on campus.
The changes that will occur will affect students by who they elect and what they want to make CSU look like for the school's community.
I've changed the dynamic as far as what does the next president and VP want to work on? What does the next Speaker of the Senate want to work on? And that'll be reflected in the change of the election.
The student government is keeping busy by starting off the semester bright. Keep an eye out for up-and-coming candidates for the election this spring.
Following the allegations of sexual harassment against former CSU professor Ronald Holt, one of the victims has begun painting a mural as a healing method. Holt previously worked in CSU's Guggenheim Hall, where he had a couple of murals of his own. After being delayed due to COVID-19, this new mural will be painted in the same building. In November 2020, Holt's murals were painted over by the university. However, it is unsure whether or not this new mural will be painted in the same location. According to the Rocky Mountain Collegian, the survivor, who will not be named, wants this mural to act as a, quote, justice piece for survivors, but to also go beyond that, end quote. At this time, there is no confirmed date for completion. However, CTV will update when more news surfaces.
I took to the campus of CSU to see how students are feeling about the 2021 spring semester. Since COVID, classes have been all over the place. And this being Colorado State University's second semester open during COVID, it finally feels like things are getting back on track for the day-to-day operations of being a college student.
My classes this semester, most of them are in person, and actually a few of them I do have online, but most of this semester I honestly think I'm going to be in person a lot.
So I've definitely had more in-person classes this semester.
It's pretty split for me, so I'm down to 3 classes, that's all I have left. So I think it's a mix between asynchronous and then my capstone's in person.
With asynchronous classes, parts of lectures, assignments, and tests still being online, students' abilities to bend the rules and cheat are quite literally at their fingertips. And professors are trying to find ways to keep this issue at bay.
I think cheating is always an issue, definitely on college campuses, but especially more than ever with classes being online.
I also noticed that professors are doing more to enforce try and stop cheating.
With the vaccine being distributed throughout the state, hopes are high for things to return back to normal sooner rather than later.
So I just want everyone, I know it's been a rough last year, so I think it's important that everyone comes out, has fun, does their part for the community, does their part for the school. I've enjoyed my time at CSU. It's been a great 4 years, and I want everyone else to have the same experience that I've had. I know it's hard right now, but we're right around the corner, so stick with it. It's also one of the best times of your life, so we're almost through. So
all in all, it seems as if the outlook for the 2021 spring semester is positive. Well, how do you think your semester is going to go this year?
I'm very optimistic.
Yep, I have one more semester after this. I'm getting close to the home stretch.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Yeah. Well, Rams, that is all we have for the news tonight.
But after the break, we will be joined by Ellison Hubbard to give you all your sports rundown.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
When you want to talk, I'm here.
How's it going, Ram fans? Welcome back from the break and to the return of Hubbard's Huddle, the Tuesday night edition, hosted by yours truly, Ellison Hubbard. Right now, a lot of new sports is popping off throughout the state of Colorado, starting in the mountains of CSU, going all the way to the Mile High City with the Rockies. Let's break the huddle, starting with a new face for the Colorado State Rams football team. As January came to a close, CSU football saw themselves in the market for a new offensive coordinator when Joey Lynch accepted a job to call for offense Clark Lee's new staff at Vanderbilt. Good news for the Rams, though, is that they already found a replacement for Lynch in Wisconsin's quarterback coach, John Budmeyer. Before coming to Fort Collins, Budmeyer has been at Wisconsin for over 10 years, combined as a player and a coach. And since landing the gig as a quarterback coach in 2018, Badgers quarterback has found a bunch of success pushing guys like Jack Conan and Alex Hornibrook to the finish in the top 5 of single passing at Wisconsin. With these accomplishments and now stepping into this new role of an offensive coordinator, can he help improve CSU's offense that ranked near the bottom of the Mountain West with only 22 points per game? Now moving up from the college ranks and into the pros, star Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson has recently requested a trade. But where will his next home be? 5 teams seem to be interested in Watson, but the one thing many Colorado sports fans want to know is if their team, the Broncos, has any chance of landing the dynamic young signal caller. And taking a look at the numbers, Watson finished the season with almost 5,000 yards of passing, 33 touchdowns, and 70% completion percentage through the air this season, making a massive upgrade over Denver's current quarterback, Drew Lock. And with the stats, one thing is for sure, Watson will not come cheap. And according to the Houston Insider, John McClain from the Houston Chronicle, to attract the Texans and any interested team will need to give up 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and 2 young defensive starters, at the least. This could include the staples like Justin Simmons in the secondary, Bradley Chubb, and the team legend Von Miller in the pass rushers that they have. And to make sure the new Denver general manager George Patton doesn't lose the Super Bowl 50 MVP, the Broncos do have the 9th overall pick to give in the end. And if a deal for who Dab will call Michael Jordan of football doesn't materialize, Denver could use their 9th pick to draft a young QB to replace Locke or add a weaker position on the team like cornerback. But no matter what happens between the Texans and Deshaun, one thing is for sure, none of us will know anything until after the big game this Sunday. Now in other trade news, yesterday a shocker for the Rockies fans became official when star third baseman Nolan Arenado was shipped off to the St. Louis Cardinals for a few prospects by the team that just drafted him only 8 years ago. As of yesterday, the trade is done. The career Colorado Rocky is off to St. Louis. So what does that trade mean for the Rockies exactly? Well, they are losing arguably the best third baseman in MLB, and let alone the best player on their team, with his 8 Gold Glove awards and 5 All-Star teams over the course of his new team endeavor, or his team endeavor, excuse me. Can the Rockies possibly make up for the loss anytime soon? Colorado fans, you better hope that the prospects they got in return, like Gomber, Gill, Lucy, Montero, and Somers, can all blossom into something special in the future. And hold on, Rams, Hubbard Huddle wouldn't be the same without the top highlight of the week. So let me show you the top highlight of the week. It's starring the CSU football team here. The Rams have been all over my Twitter feed for over the past few days. And the one thing that they can do is top off this week with Ross Reeder, the long snapper, doing a trick shot inside the stadium. Look at this. This is the bin. This is the dirty clothes bin. He's at the upper deck, shooting it all the way into the red bin. I mean, what other long snapper has the time of day to sit there and hike the ball from the upper deck into the bin? Ross Reeder, you made my top highlight play of the week. Well, Rams, that's all I have for tonight. But don't go away just yet, because up next is entertainment with Ty Gold Branson. Stay tuned.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Good evening, Fort Collins, and I hope you are having a killer weekend. Welcome to entertainment. My name is Ty Gold Branson. The Animal Friends Alliance here in Fort Collins has received the Pedigree Foundation grant. This grant gives the shelter nearly $10,000 to help 106 dogs in foster care. These funds help pay for spay and neutering, microchipping, and kennels, while the furry little friends are in foster care and on their way to adoption. Executive Director of the Animal Friends Alliance, Sarah Swanty, said, quote, "We're grateful to our friends at the Pedigree, at Pedigree for this gift, which will make it possible for dogs to arrive in their new homes." On that topic of heartwarming stories, Sugar Beet Park is getting a new sculpture to remember the migrant workers that worked on the sugar beet farms. Whose idea was this? Betty Aragon Mototes, the founder of Mujeres de Colores, a nonprofit organization. Sugar beet farms played a huge impact in the evolution and prosperity of Fort Collins since the early 1900s. Sorry, I lost my spot. In an interview with Denver 7, Aragon Metotes said, I saw something missing from that story, and that was the workers. After consulting with the artist Frank Gaza, the idea for sculpture was born. Speaking of sugar, our next story has one sweet surprise. I had the opportunity to check out the Walrus ice cream this week, but not the way you would think. Walrus has more than just sweet treats. It also has an unexpected surprise.
Walrus Ice Cream, a place for family, friends, and ghosts?
The back corner back there is the most haunted spot in Fort Collins.
That's right. This local ice cream shop has a permanent employee.
His name is Charlie Dynebeck. He was born May 1st, 1867. He lived into his 60s. He owned this building. He's not real fond of change or clocks. He knocks all our clocks off the wall. My ex-husband and I purchased the business in 1999, and he's been with us the entire time.
With Charlie having been around so long, it's no surprise that each employee has had their own experience, some more obvious than others.
Closing one night, and we had one of our pictures off the wall kind of fly directly off instead of just down.
Before the COVID lockdowns, Walrus Ice Cream was even a popular site for ghost tours.
Before COVID, the ghost tour came every Friday and Saturday night, and they would take a group of people. They take them around because there's a lot of underground tunnels around. They'll have some of their own experiences.
And a group went down there, and the door locked, and then the deadbolt went in by itself. So we got a call, and I answered, and the group was stuck down there, and so I had to get them out of there.
For those in the Fort Collins area looking for a supernatural treat, Walrus just might be the place.
As you hear voices, music, it's always happy. He's a happy ghost. We don't have we're not scary.
It is good to hear that it is a friendly ghost. It was interesting to go into such a happy place and hear that there was a ghost there. I mean, I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. But that is not our only sweet story tonight. Rita's Italian Ice is one business that's been hit hard by the pandemic. Their average sales have been cut in half since the beginning of COVID, but that's not stopping them. The owners, Carrie Kessler and Dustin David, are finding new ways to help keep the business afloat. The patio is open during all seasons since the lobby is too small to accommodate indoor dining. In order to keep business circulating, they have events almost every Saturday, such as Mother and Daughter Dessert Day and Father and Son Dessert Day. And they even cater all events are COVID safe. As we know, COVID has also made staying connected hard, especially for those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. This is why the ARC of Larimer County is launching its Reach Out, Reach Up program March 1st. Volunteers will have weekly Zoom meetups with those with disabilities based on common interests. This allows them to connect while staying safe during the pandemic. Quote, people with disabilities are no different in that opportunities to interact with people outside of their household has been extremely limited over the last 10 months, end quote, said Patrick Hackney, Executive Director of the ARC of Larimer County. Participants and volunteers can pre-apply for the March 1st launch. That's all we have for you tonight. Tune in Thursday for the end of the week news broadcast, and remember, live life to the fullest. Good night.